Hello, this is Rebecca McDonell, and I'm going to share the results of my action research based on the effect of using fine motor centers in my kindergarten classroom. The purpose of this study was to determine the effect of fine motor center activities on kindergarten handwriting assessment scores and student attitudes toward handwriting. Now, the results of this study indicated that the fine motor center activities did increase handwriting scores and improve students' attitudes towards handwriting. I have noticed a decline in handwriting ability over the last several years due to poor fine motor development, and many of my colleagues have made similar observations and shared their concerns as well. It has been my observation that children are spending more time on electronic devices and less time writing and drawing. The problem is children are entering kindergarten without the fine motor control necessary to support handwriting skills, and they need additional experiences to strengthen the small muscles in their hands. Now, trying to find time during the instructional day to address these needs is difficult because I'm already busy teaching the required curriculum and I don't have the extra time to devote to fine motor skill development. While researching strategies to strengthen hand muscles, most of the ideas that I came across were playful activities that worked best during classroom center time, which led me to the question, what effect fine motor center activities would have on kindergarten handwriting scores and attitudes toward handwriting. When designing the project, I wanted to track student progress before and after the fine motor centers were implemented, which is why I chose the one group pre-test and post-test design. Now, I collected handwriting samples before and after I implemented this new strategy, and I scored them using a rubric. I also conducted surveys one-on-one with each student to gather information about their attitudes before and after implementing the fine motor center activities. The aim of this study was to provide additional opportunities to strengthen hand muscles through the fine motor center experiences with a goal to improve kindergarten handwriting scores and attitudes by about 10%. 6 researchers from the universities of Virginia and Michigan, including Claire Cameron, discovered during observational studies that 46% of the school day was devoted to fine motor activities. This included activities like cutting, gluing, using math manipulatives, in addition to regular writing. Authors Huffman and Fortenberry compared running to writing by stating that much like an amateur runner who cannot run a marathon without correct training, a child cannot master the art of writing without the proper foundation of muscle development. In her article for Utopia, Brooke McKenzie explained that research has demonstrated a correlation between letter naming fluency and letter writing fluency, which leads to successful reading development. Occupational therapist and author Colleen Beck explained that play activities and games offer numerous ways to build and improve fine motor skills for use in functional tasks like handwriting. My kindergarten class of 16 students, including 6 females and 12 males, participated in this 2-week study. Before and after the study, I collected a handwriting sample of students writing the letters of the alphabet on handwriting paper, and then I scored these using a rubric. I also conducted a 3-question one-on-one interview with students to answer questions about their attitudes towards handwriting and hand fatigue. Then I placed fine motor activities in 6 centers. Now, groups of 2 to 3 random students rotated through the centers every 10 minutes. And then each week I changed the center material slightly to maintain student engagement. Some of the center activities included stringing wooden beads, using tweezers to place pom-poms in a bowl, using hole punchers, scissors, Play-Doh, and broken Q-tips for painting. Now, after the 2-week study, students received an additional 10 hours of fine motor practice. For the quantitative data, I examined handwriting pre-test and post-test scores. For this evaluation, I collected samples of kindergarten students writing uppercase and lowercase letters of the alphabet on handwriting paper. I scored these using a rubric to evaluate letter formation, size, line awareness, and neatness. After analyzing the graph, I noticed that all students made gains. The average student score went from 7.5 to 9.6, resulting in an average increase of 2.1 points per student. The 2 lowest students showed an average gain of 3 points, while 3 students showed an increase of 4 points. Qualitative data was collected through a 3-question survey given one-on-one before and after the study. For the first question, students shared their feelings toward handwriting by selecting a happy face, straight face, or sad face. After reviewing the bar graph, it suggests that attitudes towards handwriting in general stayed the same. However, I noticed that a male student who scored the lowest on the handwriting assessment changed his response from a sad face to a straight face after the study. During the second question of the survey, students were asked how they felt about writing letters, and once again they responded by selecting a happy face, straight face, or sad face. After reviewing the bar graph, I noticed that the most significant change in attitude occurred toward writing letters of the alphabet. 3 students that selected a sad face during the pre-test changed their response to okay. There were 3 students who changed their responses from okay to happy. The final results show a change from 44% who selected happy during the pre-test to 63% who chose a happy face for the post-test. For the last question of the survey, students were asked if their hands get tired when writing. They responded with a simple yes or no answer. After reviewing the graph, I noticed significant growth in this area compared to the others. Based on student responses, 81% reported yes, their hands get tired when writing during the pretest. After the 2-week study, only 25% reported a problem with their hands getting tired while writing. After analyzing the results of this study, I noticed a 20% gain in handwriting scores with significant improvement in attitudes. Some changes to the study include extending it for a longer period of time, possibly 6 months or even an entire school year. To enhance student engagement, I would provide additional motor activities at each center to allow for student choices and preferences, because some students were not fully engaged if it was not a preferred task. I would also like to make some changes to the assessments. I would add a simple sentence to copy during pre-test and post-test collection of handwriting data. I also noticed that my lowest student gained confidence during this study. In the future, I would add a question about confidence to the student survey. I have shared the results and progress of this study with the kindergarten and first grade teachers in my building who can relate to the growing trend of students who are entering school with fine motor delays. Some other colleagues that I have shared this study with include my building principal, a district instructional resource coach, and our occupational therapist. In the future, I plan to expand this research, make some changes, and implement the strategy for a longer period of time. My goal is to secure additional fine motor resources for use in the classrooms to support students who need additional fine motor experiences. Thank you for listening to my action research presentation over the effect of fine motor centers.